We have muffins on the menu today, and they are delicious. Hello everyone, welcome to Jeweliyana's kitchen. Today on the menu we're making a continuation on the marvelous muffins playlist. So if you're looking for a really hearty breakfast on the run, wholesome, even I think it falls in the Mediterranean diet, anti-inflammatory diet muffins, you've come to the right place because we're going to make some delicious lemon oatmeal cranberry muffins. So if you like the sounds of that, hit that like button and join me on the mixing table and I'll show you how. So you're going to need 2 bowls for this, one for the dry ingredients and one will mix the wet ingredients in a minute. But let's start with the dry ingredients. You want to first start with 1 3/4 cups of good old flour. And to that you want to add 1 cup of rolled oats, quick cooking regular rolled oats. And we want to add to that, I'll have all the ingredients also, by the way, listed in the description. You can grab them there, but if you want to follow along for the proportions and mixing directions, you can follow me along here. It helps my channel grow. So we want to go with a tablespoon of baking soda. No, sorry, a tablespoon of baking powder, a teaspoon of baking soda, and a teaspoon of salt. And we want to mix that up nicely. And a couple other dry ingredients we want to add here. I'm going to add, the recipe calls for either 1 cup of sunflower seeds or pumpkin seeds, or you can use nuts too if you want, but I'm making these for a friend that has a nut allergy. So I'm doing the half and half. I'm going to do 1/2 cup of sunflower seeds and 1/2 cup of pumpkin seeds. And to that also, if you want to add a little more protein to these muffins, and they add great flavor, a little bit more moisture, you can add 1/4 cup of hemp hearts. And if you don't know what hemp hearts are, I'm going to have a link in my description to these hemp hearts. They're really good. They're full of omegas and I don't know, they're all kinds of delicious, nutritious things for you. You can research it if you're interested. I just like the fact that they add more protein to your muffins. We're going to set this off to the side, zest the lemons, and then mix the wet ingredients. So we want to use the zest of 1 whole lemon. And I just wanted to show you this grater because I prefer this kind of grater, the standing ones, just because it's easier to put your muscle into grating them than those fancy little handheld ones. I guess I'm just not that strong and this is more convenient. So if you like them and you need one, I do have a link in my description. I'm an Amazon affiliate, make a little bit of money to help keep me going if you happen to buy one or need one. No pressure. Okay, so let's get this lemon zested and then we'll mix the wet ingredients. We also want to chop some cranberries. I prefer to chop them a little bit rather than have these big whole ones. So you just want to give them a quick chop so that they're kind of about half the size of a cranberry, or half pieces, just a little more nicer bite-sized mouthfuls. We're going to mix the wet mixture now. So you want to start with 1/2 cup of brown sugar. Dark brown, light brown, doesn't matter. I like to use dark brown. And to that you want to crack in there 2 eggs. And we'll give it a good mix to blend it. You can see. And to that we're also going to add 1/2 cup of oil. I like to just use olive oil for everything. You can use canola or whatever type of oil you like. And we also want to add 1 cup of either sour cream or Greek yogurt, whichever your preference. I think if you're doing the Mediterranean diet, you need to stick to the yogurt and go light on the sour cream. And if you're just an everyday girl in a hurry trying to make some muffins for breakfast like me, sour cream works good too. So mix that together, and to that, the last liquid ingredient will be 1.5 teaspoons of vanilla. We'll mix that all up and put it together with the dry ingredients. Let's put it all together now. Let's add those cranberries to our dry mixture. And then we're going to add that lemon that we zested. Not the lemon, just the lemon zest. And then we're going to stir that all around just so that the lemon zest is nicely blended into the flour mixture. And the cranberries are all coated so that they don't stick together. Sometimes if they get all clumpy and sticky because they're very moist, you can just coat them in the flour like this and that breaks them up. And just before we add the wet ingredients, there's one more ingredient I want to add to the wet before we put it in here, and that's some lemon juice. So let's get a lemon squeezed. I'm thinking that we probably want to just use the lemon that we just zested. Why not? Nice fresh lemon. And I want a tablespoon of lemon juice, just to give it a little extra lemony flavor and see how that goes. So get rid of that. We don't want to put the seeds in, of course. So to the wet ingredients, that's a tablespoon of lemon juice, and just give that a mix. Because the idea is with muffins, you don't want to overmix the dry ingredients. So that's why we mix them separate, so that you have wet all completely mixed and dry all completely mixed. Okay, now we're ready to put it all together. If you want to follow along this video and take notes, you can, or I have an easy button now too. I made all the recipes into downloadable 8.5 by 11 pages like this. You can get them at my Etsy shop. The link will be in the description if you're interested. If not, keep listening. We'll keep going and you'll know how to make them. You don't have to buy the recipe. Okay, but I'd love it if you did. Anyway, dry ingredients. We want to add all of those liquid ingredients. Just like that. And then mix it as little as possible, just enough to get the dry absorbed into the liquid. And then into the muffin tins they go. You just want your muffin tin to be lightly greased, and then we're going to fill each muffin tin about 2/3 to 3/4 full. Then we want to bake them at 350 for 18 minutes. They're done. So I just want to show you guys how to check if a muffin is done. You just use your toothpick, not the one you were chewing on. Okay, you just use a toothpick and you want to insert it in the middle of a muffin, and if it comes out basically dry, then you know your muffins are done. If not, then put it back in for a couple more minutes till the toothpick test will come out dry. So if you liked cooking with me and you want to try some more wonderful recipes, please subscribe and see you on the next video. Thanks for watching my channel. Have a great day.